Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Ultra Rising, Collective Ultra Rising. This is Lord Heka Solra, a.k.a. Heka the Black Butterfly, a.k.a. solraeljustice, a.k.a. You already know who it is, man. Listen, happy Mercury Day from here all the way to planet Mercury. I want to say thank you to everybody's great support. You know, if you have supported the Free Heka campaign, I appreciate you in any way, shape, form, or fashion by buying any T-shirts, buying any hoodies, buying any books, buying any services, you know, donating, anything of that. Just thank you. Before we get started, I like to say, you know, words really don't explain how grateful I am to be able to share such a vulnerable moment with you guys, but also to be able to grow and to be able to show you all by example, how how to move. So with that being said, today's lecture is 9/11/2024, quantum jumping and dream state analysis. Somebody was asking me, they was like, well, how do we know who we are? And where can we find out where we came from? And how do we know where we're going? So I just want to do a quick little lecture where I can enlighten you all on such a subject and just give you, the wisdom, that I know to share. And there was a Bible scripture that screamed out to me today, and I don't really know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to try. Ecclesiastes 7:12. And so it says, for wisdom is a defense, as money is a defense. But the excellence of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to those that have it. So we know that ultimately wisdom is what we strive for within the life, of the life, to have the life. And so the more wisdom you have, the more life you have, right? And it's simply because you have the knowledge and the wisdom and the excellence to know how to basically take advantage of the now moment, or take advantage of the present moment that you share. Because the more wisdom you got, the more you know to be aware. The more awareness you have, the more present you are. And so the more present you are, the more life you have, right? I just wanted to share that quick little scripture, but to get started, so I want you guys to know that we are not talking about location. When I'm saying who are you, where you came from, where you're going, and where you're headed, these are not physical locations. I just need you to know that. These are ideas and concepts, and it's all in your own perspective, whatever suits you the best. So when I say there are three things you need to learn in order to basically exit or complete the Earth life game cycle, and that's you need to know who you are at your core, that's called your core signature, right? You need to know where you came from, like who are you and where you really came from, like your region of space or your cosmic identity, okay? And then you also need to know where you're headed and where you're going. Like this is ultimately important. Now, since we're not moving in actual directions, we gotta follow symbols and things like that. And how do we gain this awareness? We really gotta learn a lot about who we are as our core signature. So I'm gonna give you a few ideas. So when you're quantum jumping, right, you gotta use the calendars. Now, even though the calendar dates are the Gregorian calendar, it's okay. Like, never mind the fact that it's a Gregorian calendar. Never mind that. Just use the numbers and allow the numbers to guide you, because numbers is a universal language. With that being said, the way that we've been taught to read the Gregorian calendar is one way to read it. But of course, there are other ways to how do you say? There are other ways to move and to navigate through the calendar. Now, as I said in other lectures, I'm telling you that times and dates trigger emotional codes. These trigger emotional codes, they activate feelings. These feelings activate memories, which activate thoughts, which help you to activate your core signature. All right? How do you do that? You have to practice on remembering. That's what I'm telling you. You have to practice on remembering so that you can remember who your core signature is. And it's a process. It's a process. But just know that when it's time for you to remember, you will remember, especially as long as there's no blockages there, right? Now, quantum jumping and using time and numbers and dates, these are important because the numbers are not just like the dates that we see on the calendar. They're not just days that help us count the days of the week. They're more than that. And that's why I'm trying to give you this perspective to help you see a greater picture. They're portals, they're gateways, they're wormholes, they're directions, they're destinations even, okay? And these are all regions of space. Now, a region of space is an area that has no location. So how can you get back to a space that is a region, that is an area with no location? You have to have that clear knowing within you, and that willpower. That clear knowing activates the willpower. The willpower activates the frequency that you need to be on to automatically transmit or transport or teleport yourself to whichever destiny that you so desire. Okay? So now, the way that I count the calendar dates, whether if it's the Gregorian date calendar or not, is I count it twice. I count it up and I count it down. Now, when I come home, I'm going to be able to show you guys this in a PowerPoint presentation, but right now I'm just going to give you what I can as far as from my present situation and my present position. Now, how can we find out? Now, that's how you can find out your core signature, but you really got to pay attention and you got to practice. You got to practice. You got to do a lot of your shadow work. You got to do your shadow work. You got to do your ancestor shadow work, and you got to start working on the collective shadow work. Once you start working on the collective shadow work, you start activating your memories of your soul and your core signature. Once you start activating the memories of your code and your source signature, the code of your core signature, you then start to activate all the extra bodies that needs to go along with that. When I mean bodies, I mean the angles of light that you need to be in order to access this information or these higher perspectives or these higher dimensional views. All right, so now one thing you need to know is your dreams. Your dreams the dreams are basically a science and a technology. Now, navigating your dreams is very, very powerful and knowing how to, okay? So I'm going to give you an example. When I first got in the situation that I'm in now based on the lower cause and effect decision that was made, I started dreaming about past life experiences, past life timelines, or parallel realities that were lower vibrational existences. I know they were lower vibrational existences because I recognized the people and the faces and the image. It was familiar, okay? Now, it's important that you recognize when you're traveling or traversing through a familiar timeline because this allows you to already know the result. So most of the destinies are different, but they are similar in such by a little bit, right? That's where you get the Mandela effect from, right? That's where you get that Mandela effect from. So I just had something. My bad, y'all. People yelling in the background and mess me up. Okay, so when you're your dreams, right? And so when you are going down a familiar timeline, when you start recognizing, when you having dreams and you recognizing everybody there, you know their names, they feel familiar. This is a timeline in the space that you've already experienced, whether you've experienced it in this lifetime with this human body or not, but it is a timeline in the code that you have endured before. So you can choose to make a decision to go down that path, or you can choose to create a trident and create another decision that's going to take you another way. Now, here's the thing about the familiar timeline. The familiar timelines can turn karmic, negatively oriented, if you feed them too much of your attention and the divine is trying to guide you away from it. So when your spirit guides and the divine is telling you to do something, or to, let's say for example, let's say there's a karmic relationship. God and the universe and whoever you pray to, your higher power is guiding you to leave that relationship, but you still stay because you have, out of fear, you have a fear of attachment and you don't want to let go. Then it might have had an opportunity to grow to something more, but now it's going to be karmic because you ain't listening to the guidance. So that's what I'm saying about your dreams. They help you they help to show you where you are at, like literally in the present moment. Once I got here, I started dreaming of the past. I knew that I had ventured into an artificial timeline and some past life realities. Now I'm back having dreams where I'm viewing from the future perspectives and the future possibilities, because now I'm having dreams where I don't know these people, I don't know these places, I don't know these situations, I don't even know, the experiences. They're not familiar experiences. So now I know, okay, I've activated the higher timelines, the future vibrational frequencies, and now I'm in the right place at the right time, right? Because now I'm in a present position to where I can project my future reality out, right? Now, I hope this is really so. When it comes to quantum jumping, your dreams is everything. That's why it's called dream state training, because your dreams are tools and technologies and a science that tells you where you are at the very present moment. When you're not noticing people, and I know I've said this before, but you really need to understand this is so important. When you're noticing people, these are familiars. You gotta change directions, make a different choice, create a different decision, and go that way, go another way, so that you can get a different result. Just like the definition of insanity. So remember, the times and the dates. Once you learn this other way that I have been learning and been practicing for some years now, but I want to share it with you all when I get out. Another way of looking at the calendar, using the calendar to help you to traverse and navigate through your own imagination, okay? To help you to navigate through the worlds of the imaginary planes. You dig what I'm saying? So, also, knowing where you're headed. See, this is the awareness, this is the power that you need to have in order for you to have enough energy to hold enough memory to get to where you got to go. Okay, so that's why building your willpower up here, the more willpower you build, the more energy you can hold, the more frequencies and the more grids and the more powerful templates you can maintain. With the awareness, this creates space for you to be able to create your own region. Now remember, a region in space is a location, is an area in space with no location. So heaven really doesn't have a location because heaven really exists in you. But since you're the point, the dot, you really don't have a location either, because everything is an illusion, and we're just out of ourselves right now, right? We're just out of our bodies right now. We're out of our minds right now, literally, right? And so, quantum jumping, it's important that you pay attention to the numbers, the freaking dates, and the times. I'm telling you, because they're telling a whole different language. They're telling the language of your core signature. They're telling the language of your higher self. They're telling the language of the future. You feel what I'm saying? Because the numbers, no matter what, no matter how you go, we use the numbers as a technology in order for us to navigate the sciences, like the quantum physics, the quantum mechanics, in order for us to navigate the time, which we need the time in order to navigate the space. You see what I'm saying? That's where you get time and space continuum, and that's kind of where you get the symbol of the cross from. The symbol of the cross is basically telling you to remember time and space, and it crosses each other. So it's talking about timeline crossing. And we're on the top way more into that deeper when I'm able to show you pictures and of how I'm seeing this thing. But I did a lecture and I was telling you guys about directions, and I was telling you that there are, we recognize the 4 directions while we kind of ignore the other directions. Well, there's really 8 directions because time is an 8th-dimensional construct. So the cross is just only a piece. It's 4-directional, but it's only a piece of the 8th-dimensional construct. And
1 minute remaining.
Oh, there she goes. She said we got 1 minute remaining. And so when you're quantum jumping, your memories, bro, that's why you got to remember. You got to practice on remembering. But you got to also know when to let go certain memories, because you don't need to take every memory with you. Some memories are meant to be left behind on that timeline. Some experiences are meant to be left wherever they are, so that you can have space to go, so that you can have more memory with you. The whole point and goal, guys, is to hold enough awareness so that you can contain more memory. The more memory you can contain as you do all your healing, the more you can remember who you are, where you came from, and where you're headed. All right? So, I love you. I pray this was able to touch somebody's soul the way it was meant to be. Peace, you know what I'm saying? $divinemoira. Thank you for any support, especially buying the shirts and the books and all that. I love y'all. Peace.